I guess you could call that gate a selector size. Hello, I'm Lanny and welcome back to LTB Farms. We've got quite a bit to get done today. It turned off a lot cooler and cloudy today, which I'm okay with that. Also a slight chance of rain as well. I'm real okay with that. So since it has turned off quite a bit cooler, I'm going to take this opportunity to get some bush hogging done on one of the next pastures that we're going to be getting ready to move the girls to. Then I've got a barn side of the pen, outside pen, that I need to get cleaned out and get ready to sort some lambs and move the ram lambs over into those finishing pens. So we're going to get started with that today. How far we'll get, I don't know. Depends on the rain, depends on a lot of things. But we will carry you with us as much as possible. We'll go there. I don't want the engine to heat up because I'm going to be pouring diesel fuel in there. Yeah, you get it. Okay. Yep, number 2. Come back here. Always tighten that PTO shaft down very tight, because unless you've ever had one blow out in the middle of doing what you're doing, you don't understand. But if you've ever noticed back pictures of my tractor where the PTO safety cover is bent on one side, that's what happened. So I try to make sure that it is very tight. Okay, got those on, that on. PTO shaft is on. Start it up, lift it up, get it centered, pinned down on the sway bars. I went ahead and started the regen so it could go ahead and get that done, so it'll stop that stinking beeping. Gotcha. Finally finished the regen. Whew, I was beginning to wonder there for a little bit. We're going to get this gate open. This pasture is looking pretty good. We were able to get the goat weed early enough that it's looking really, really good. This grass is tall enough now, I have a hard time getting the gate open. Of course, that helps it. Pins in the middle. I guess you could call that gate a selector size. As close to this fin slide as I can. but I'm going to go a little slower. Back up so I can get up into this corner. Touchdown. Let the birds go ahead and have that one for a while. Move on to the next field. Tight turn here. From this direction. Alright. Here we go. Other field. We did it. Got it done. Yep. Bring chainsaw over. Get a couple of those sorts of let's head to the house. This is our next project. We'll get this cleaned up. If I can get the goats out of the way. These two have been hanging around up in here for a while. I believe I'm done. Well, welcome to another morning on the farm. Got some things to finish up that I didn't get finished last night. Did something to my foot, and occasionally it kind of messes with me and becomes really painful. So I had to kind of stop a little short of finishing everything last night. So I'm going to go down, finish out the cow's tanks from the tractor tank, get that done. Then we're going to hook up the bush hog. Yep, we're bush hogging again. I'll probably spare you the video on that because honestly, you've seen that so much, I don't know if I can keep it interesting anymore. So that's just a couple of the things that we've got to get started with today. Still have the clean out on those side sheds to get finished. I had to kind of let it dry a little bit because under that hay was just really wet, and it was hard to maneuver the tractor in that really wet stuff. So I had to let it dry for a little bit, and it's pretty dry now. So I'll see if I can get that one finished up and hopefully be able to move to the other. I think I can get it done with just the bucket. May have to maneuver a little bit. I do have some feeders in there I'll need to get out of the way and stuff like that. So just a few things we've got going on for today. Continuation of the bush hogging, continuation of cleaning out the barn sheds as we get ready to move lambs over, and that's going to be about it for today. So I'll tag you along as much as I can. Alright, heading over to get the cow's tank on this front side. Yeah, girl, you're fine. Alright, so I'm going to go get the cow's tanks on this front side. Got a couple of goat girls in here. Let's see if I can maneuver around them. That's all said and done. Good deal. Alright. Get this gate open. Tanks I'm after are just inside the gate, so pretty easy to get to. Turn. Kind of have to hit it in an angle so that the hose reaches and everything. That should be good. I really need to get these big tanks dumped, cleaned, and refilled. As hot as it's been, unfortunately the hot weather and combination of the grasses and stuff that they eat, and they'll have a mouthful of grass, they'll walk up and get a drink of water, and half the grass stays in the water, and it gets kind of nasty pretty fast. It's just, I hate to dump that much water, I really do. That's one thing I'm kind of frugal with, but I'm going to have to get it done because the tanks are getting pretty nasty. Alright, our other tank's over here. It looks like it'll be hard to get to, but it isn't. Just gotta get the right angle. Alright, kind of sort of in the trees, but not too bad. It's kind of funny to me, but the reason they use this tank mostly in the early part of the day is because of the little calf that we had born last week and a half ago. Because he likes to stay up here in that corner right up there. So since he wants to stay there, everybody else stays there. But then once that corner gets into the sun, they'll all move way down there where they'll mostly use that other tank that we just filled. That didn't take just a couple minutes. I'm telling you, this big tank puts out quite a bit of water and at a time. So it don't take long to empty out a tank or fill one of those big tanks. All right. Now, we are going to head to bush hog. While I'm unhooking the water tank, I'm going to answer a couple questions real quick. Had a lot of people ask, why is it that you bush hog so much instead of spraying? Well, I have nothing against spraying, nothing at all. And I prefer to spray. But unfortunately, in some years, if you can't, in a timely manner, get it done before the hot, dry season comes, or even just the long stretches with no rain, if you can't get it done before that starts, you run the risk of spraying after the dry season hits, of damaging the stuff that you're actually trying to preserve. So it is possible that if you get, say, your Bermuda grasses in a very stressed situation because of the lack of water, and then you spray them, a very good chance that it can kill it. Unfortunately, we have to depend on either being able to rent or borrow a sprayer to be able to spray our property. Now, that's something I'm hoping to remedy this year, in that I've already started making plans to be able to build our own pasture sprayer. Won't be maybe quite as efficient as the ones you buy, but the difference in price is, ones you buy $4,800, the one I build about $325. So big difference on cost. I'm going to use one of the tanks, much like the water tank, which has a 275 gallon capacity. Most of your trailer sprayers have a 300 gallon capacity, so a little bit difference there. But with the acreage that I'm dealing with, that's fine. It would be fine even if it was a 100 gallon tank, because I usually mix per field. I don't mix just a full tank full and then just take off. That way I know that I'm getting 4 acres worth of spray here and 7 acres worth here. So I can just control better how much I'm putting out, because if you overdo it, also you can damage the stuff that you're trying to preserve. So I'll show you a couple of the pieces that I plan on using to build that sprayer. We have this hay mover trailer. This is what we used before we had the tractor. Hooks up, ball hitch, back of a truck. You spear the round bales with it, crank them up with a pulley, drive them wherever you want to, and that worked great until it got into the rainy season, when you still couldn't hardly half get into the pastures, so that we still had issues with that. But my plan is to take that, the guy that we got it from, I'm going to see if he will let me buy it or if he just doesn't want it anymore, because it's been here about 3 years. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this part down flat on the frame, bolt it down with a U-bolt, and I'm going to set one of those IBC tanks, one of those type that we use for the water tank, on that. Then I'll put a PTO pump on it going to the tractor. On the back I'll put one of the single nozzle things. I'll have a manifold where I can also on and off switch a hand sprayer, is kind of my plan. So we'll see how that works. That may be something I get to work on soon, so that I can have it for fall spraying to help cut down the regrowth in spring. Or it may be something that turns into a winter project just because time allowances, and hopefully we'll have it for spring season next year. So here we go. Okay, I have a serious question for those of you that are into insectology and things like that, if I have any viewers that get into that. Do you see these little white bugs Yeah, those are actually bugs. For the longest, I thought they were like goat weed seed. But no, they are insects. My question are, they're all over the tractor. They're all either moving, crawling. Okay. Are those like a blister beetle? Because I get surrounded by millions of them while I'm in this tall goat weed. And as soon as one touches the skin or the eye or anything else, see there's some, they're on my shirt, it begins to burn like fire, itch. So is that why goat weed is so detrimental to sheep and goat digestive systems and not the makeup of the goat weed? Or is it both? I don't know. We've always had bad issues with those that have gotten into the goat weed. Maybe they're not feeling well, so that's the closest thing. So because they don't feel like going out grazing, they eat that, and then they start getting scours, and it just makes things worse. So I'm just curious: is that mainly the reason why it's so bad for them, and not necessarily the makeup of the goat weed? If you could answer that, that would be awesome. That would be fantastic. But those things sure burn like fire. Let me know in the comments. Well, I was trying to, after filling water tanks and bush hogging in this heat, trying to catch lunch break and cool off for a few minutes, but apparently that's not possible because the goats who refuse to stay where they belong, one of them in particular has now taken a bad habit of getting herself hung in the fence. That's the one thing about goats. They can have 60 acres They can have 60 acres of graze, and they want that one thing that's on the other side of the fence, their fence. About broke her neck.
I'm done for today. Or I'm not done, but I'm done. Got the water tank on for feeding and watering session a little bit. Right now, it is time to get to the house, cool off just a little bit. Starting to get a headache, so that tells me that I need to go ahead and get in the shade. It's always everybody has their own triggers that lets them know that it's time. And me, that's time. So got a little headache going on, so I'll go get hydrated, cool off for a little bit. So I guess for this video here at LTB Farms, that's going to be about all. So thanks for watching.